It's me again, Tyler. Last time, I told you how my stepsister ended up living with me after I lost her college fund by investing it in Bitcoin. Today, I'm going to tell you how Lexi ended up being my tormentor and how one day, my crush and I got trapped in a closet trying to hide from her. But before anything else, don't forget to subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up and hit that notification bell icon to show your support for me. So, last time, I told you that a storm was brewing on the horizon. And I was wrong. It wasn't just a storm. It was a catastrophe. The next school year started out smooth. After finishing off that year in college, and after my high school graduation, we somehow scraped by. With the money Lexi was earning from her jobs, and the money coming in from selling my drawings and paintings, she was able to pay her tuition, and I was able to apply for college. I ended up going to the same college as Lexi. It was, after all, close to home. And it was easier and cheaper for us to carpool there. But things with me and Lexi were getting weirder and weirder by the day. On my first day in college, she took my hand and we went to school hand in hand. Everybody stared. I didn't know why at first, but it turned out Lexi was pretty popular. I guess I never really thought of her in that way because I still saw her as my sister. But when I realized how guys looked at me with envy whenever Lexi dropped me off at school, I began to see what they meant. Lexi was beautiful, and the fact that every boy in school desired her made me feel things I couldn't explain. And it made me feel good that I was the one who was getting all her attention. But soon enough, rumors began to circulate. People found out that the freshman who came to school every day with Lexi was her stepbrother. And the looks of envy soon became tinted with looks of judgment. One day, Lexi's ex, Daniel, approached me. "That's gross, you know?" he said. Huh? I asked, not knowing what he meant. "You and Lexi? That's gross. You're her brother and all. Don't you feel sick that you're all up on her?" he said. I didn't know what to say. But I replied anyway. "First of all, mind your own business, Dan. Secondly, we don't even have the same parents, so shut your mouth about that stuff. And Lexi and I? It's not even like that. Get your mind out of the gutter," I said. And then, I walked away before I could say more things that I might regret. I knew in the back of my mind that Daniel was right. Even I didn't feel right about how close Lexi and I were becoming. She acted like I was her boyfriend, and the rumors in school weren't helping my sanity. I knew I had to do something to let people know I wasn't dating my own stepsister. Lexi tormented me on the daily. She would blame me for anything that went wrong in her day. She would constantly remind me of how much money I owed her, and if I was slacking on house chores, she'd throw a tantrum. But at school, she was a sweetheart. She'd hold my hand, feed me lunch, and plant kisses on my forehead, hands, and cheeks. So much so that people would make fun of me behind my back. They did it in front of me, too, and I couldn't say anything. Well, because they were right. I decided I was going to start dating someone. I had to throw everyone off the rumors that Lexi was my girlfriend. And I had to do it publicly. Except, Lexi can't find out about it. I had to be seen with another girl, but not when Lexi was around. Otherwise, I don't know how she'd react. There was a girl I really liked in my class. Her name was Jules, and she was exactly my type of girl. She was geeky too, and she was a gamer. One day, I finally worked up the courage to ask her out. Her reply was less than enthusiastic. Are you sure?" she asked me. "Aren't you going out with that Lexi girl? I don't want to be in a love triangle." I laughed nervously. No, that's some weird misunderstanding. I promise you, Lexi and I... That's weird. She's my stepsister." "You're dating your stepsister?" exclaimed Jules. "You just got 100 times more interesting." I laughed nervously again. No, I promise we're not together or anything. Gross. Yeah, why do you think I'm asking you out? Jules gave me a frown. "Well, that's disappointing. But, sure. Where and when?" she said. I really had no idea why everyone was so hung up on me and Lexi, and why Jules said it would have been more interesting if I was indeed dating my stepsister. But, hey, she said yes. So I took my victory and ran with it. I began seeing Jules. We would hang out every chance we got. and I made sure people saw it. I also made sure I showed my new girlfriend off only when Lexi was busy, in class or not at school. I could only imagine how she would react if she saw me with another girl. But the whole thing worked. Soon enough, the rumors about me and Lexi died down a bit. Maybe it was because I was parading Jules around. Maybe it was because that was just the nature of people. Maybe they just got bored and moved on to the next scandalous thing. But nevertheless, I was glad nobody was giving me judgmental stares anymore. Even Lexi was getting busier and busier. She was buried in schoolwork and normal work. I thanked the heavens for that. One day, I decided to invite Jules over. I knew Lexi was going to be at work the whole day, and I really wanted to spend quality time with Jules, away from everybody else. "Welcome to my humble abode," I said, opening the door to the house that Lexi and I shared. "Mi casa es su casa. Make yourself comfortable. I'll get us some snacks." Jules saw Lexi's photos on the walls. "I didn't know you lived together," she said. I scratched the back of my head. "Well, yeah, but to be fair, this was our parents' house. We grew up here, but yeah, she moved back in when what?" asked Jules. "It's a long and boring and embarrassing story," I replied. "I have all the time in the world," said Jules. I fixed up some microwaved pizza and some lemonade, and then I led Jules up to my room. We talked about life and school, and no matter how embarrassing it was, I told Jules about why Lexi was living at home again. And surprisingly, she didn't judge me for it. "We all make mistakes," she said. "Some smaller, and some $100,000 worth," she teased. "But seriously, I'm no saint either, so don't worry. If anything, if you need someone to talk to, I'll always be there." It was so refreshing to open up to someone. For almost a year, I had just been bolting up the guilt and the stress of my blunders. And now that Jules was here, it felt so good to vent and unburden myself. And she didn't make me feel bad about any of it. I kissed her. Jules pulled back. "Are you sure?" she asked me. I'm sorry," I said, unsure if I'd overstepped. "You make me feel good. Normal. I really like you, Jules." "I really like you too," said Jules. And then she kissed me back. That was when I heard the front door slam open and then close. "Crap," I exclaimed. "What?" asked Jules. "Lexi's home," I said. "And?" said Jules. "And she doesn't know about you. I didn't say I was inviting someone over. And she sounds like she's had a bad day," I said, hearing how Lexi was slamming doors. "So what? She's not your mom. You can invite over whoever you want to," said Jules. "No, you don't understand," I reasoned, shoving Jules into my closet. "You gotta hide. Just for a bit, please." I knew it was gonna be trouble if Lexi found out I had a girl in my room. And I could hear her footsteps going up the stairs. It was gonna be even more trouble for me if Jules found out how Lexi treated me at home. I didn't want to be the talk of the school again. And so, despite her protestations, I convinced Jules to hide in my closet until I could find a way to smuggle her out of the house. But Jules wasn't having it. She pulled me in with her. "Nuh-uh," she whispered. "I am not going to be trapped in this musty closet of yours alone." And just as she closed my closet doors, my bedroom door slammed open. I heard Lexi huff. She sighed and said out loud, "You're not home, I guess." I was about to breathe a sigh of relief, thinking Lexi would just get out and go to her room. But my stepsister crossed my room and plopped herself onto my bed. She began breathing in my pillow and muttering, "I miss you. I miss you, Tyler." That earned me a raised eyebrow from Jules. I could only imagine what she must think of me and Lexi now. But she didn't say a word for fear of being found. We waited and waited for Lexi to leave. But she never did. She put on her headphones and began watching YouTube videos. And then she started browsing through my notebooks and sketchbooks. It was hours before she finally fell asleep. And it felt so weird how she had her face buried in my pillow and dressed in one of my shirts. Jules sniggered at that, and I had to cover her mouth in case Lexi heard. "I can't hear her music from here," Jules remarked, noting Lexi's headphones. she won't hear a thing. And I believed her. Finally, Jules and I felt safe enough to tiptoe out of my room and run downstairs. I apologized for pushing her into the closet, and she forgave me. Hey, no worries, she laughed. Most exciting first date I ever had. And I gotta say, this thing with you and Lexi, it's interesting. I didn't know what to say to that, and so I just kissed her goodnight. I sighed in relief when I finally closed the front door and bid Jules goodbye. But then I heard footsteps on the staircase. Who was that? Asked Lexi.